Hello guys, welcome back to the movie reviews that you did not miss at all. And today, we'll be reviewing a film called Spider-Man. Spider-Man came out in 2002. 2002 was approximately 15 years ago. Of course, I'll be reviewing the films differently now. Of course, as you all know, that I spoiled the entire plot. But now it'll be an oversimplified plot and not really read on some websites. So Peter Parker lives with people, and of course he's an outcast because he is a nerd, and he gets bit by spider like in the comics, and he gets powers, and he gets advice from his father. He dies. Oh wait, I'm spoiling the story, but he gets angry. He fights bad guy. The bad guy, spoiler, eventually wants to kill him. Blah blah blah. End of story. Because I'm not spoiling any more of the plot now, but you just know, at least know that Spider-Man's father dies in the movie because Spider-Man was reckless. Spider-Man had pretty good visual effects and had a pretty good fight between Green Goblin and Spider-Man. And this movie was groundbreaking because it came out in 2002, where CGI was not that big. The first true CGI film, the first film to truly test visual effects was not this film, of course. That was Titanic, and Toy Story was absolutely the first completely CGI movie ever made. But Spider-Man is easily considered, still by some Spider-Man fans, even though good Spider, because if you look at Spider-Man, best Spider-Man films, most people now say the new one with the cartoon, the one that looks like a comic book, is the best one, or the MCU one, or the sequel Spider-Man 2 with Dr. Octopus. But this film introduced Spider-Man to the big screen that was not a cartoon. That was not a TV show. It is the first installment and stars Tobey Maguire. I don't know why they didn't make a fourth one. To be honest, because they made like it makes sense that they made a trilogy, and it was one of the most successful films of all time. It's the third highest grossing film, and Seraph no longer the third highest grossing film of all time because many films came out. But Spider-Man easily was a great film. It tested visual effects in 2002, which was unheard of. Not many films really had great visual effects. There were some like Planet of the Apes, the remake, that nobody liked. And there were some animated films testing visual effects, and of course there was Harry Potter testing visual effects, but not many films that really did test the visual effects. And also the War of the Rings series is still going on, and that didn't really have a big budget, surprisingly. Most people tend to think that War of the Rings had a massive, like $200 million budget, but it didn't. It actually was pretty cheap compared to movies now. But that's basically Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a film about Spider-Man. If you don't know who Spider-Man is, he's the guy. And you're definitely living under a rock, because Spider-Man's a superhero who's like a spider. He can climb walls and shoot webs at people. And that's basically Spider-Man. Spider-Man has really great characters, of course. Of course, there are some movies there are several movies that came out at similar times, such as, dare I say, I'll probably get like 5 dislikes for this. That's for saying this. The Incredibles, but there are many superhero films that did kind of age, like the first Spider-Man film, the old Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy. Some of these old superhero movies did age really well, but there are some that did age pretty poorly to me, like The Incredibles, and the sequel of The Incredibles was not that great to begin with, but Spider-Man is a very great movie. If you like Spider-Man, and if you like Marvel, I would watch it, but of course, if you do not like Spider-Man, And if you do not like Marvel, then don't watch it. Don't see it at all if you don't like Spider-Man. But oh yeah, and also Iron Man. Like let's go on. I give this movie a 7 out of 10. It has great action sequences and great character building, but the second film was better than the first one and really tested Peter Parker as a character more than the first one. This was just simply a movie made to introduce us to the world of Spider-Man, and that's basically it. And they did a pretty good job at it, kind of like Batman Begins. Most people consider it the black sheep of the Batman series, but it was meant to introduce you to Batman. It was not meant to be the greatest thing ever made. It's still a fine 7 out of 10 movie that could review that movie. Batman Begins is the same score as this as the first Spider-Man movie, because they're the start. The start in some film trilogies are not really as exciting as the sequels. But comparing it to other superhero movies of the 2000s, of course we have Iron Man, which was great, The Dark Knight, but I'll do my own rating of the top superhero movies of that decade, and is Transformers seriously a superhero movie? You gotta be kidding me. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and that's my review of Spider-Man.